started in high school. I liked art, but I liked music better. So I played French horn for like 5 years, even in professional orchestra after high school. And so I really didn't do any drawing or anything until I got to university. And so at one point I studied home economics, which included arts. So I ended up doing sculpture, painting, and eventually I finished university. I didn't become a dietitian, which I studied to be. I became a teacher. And my first job entailed having to teach art the first year, as well as home economics. I'm an artist who learned for many, many years. I was probably 22 years old when I started studying art seriously. And I took art at UWO, which is University of Western Ontario, and I also took art at York University. I did 10 studios there. So compared to most students who graduate, I did way more studios. I took one course per year to enjoy it. I studied printmaking, so I still kept a couple prints here that I did. This was a collograph that I did, and this is intaglio, which is done with copper plate etching, and it's two images from two different plates put together. Then eventually I decided I wanted to be a painter. I studied sculpture, I studied printmaking for 3 years. I liked it, but who the heck wants to own a big printing press? So I didn't continue, and I started painting. And most of my painting after university and during my time at York, I was life drawing. I did tons and tons of life drawing. We hired a model in Aurora, and she came every week. So we painted and painted, and we drew. I studied with a famous artist for one week in Barrie called Eric Fischel, who is he drew people, mostly nudes. So anyhow, I was always admiring him. So after studying that, and he said to me, "Why don't you paint people if that's what you really want to paint?" The other thing that I painted later on was people in landscape. I took a course on portraiture for a while, and that was with Sergei Malina. The other thing I started to do was landscape, and I painted sculpture pieces in landscape. And this was some small bronze that I put in this landscape. I'm obsessed with rocks because I've done lots of hiking and rock climbing, not with ropes. But this painting over here was because I spent a lot of time either in Alberta hiking and Utah hiking and New Mexico and Arizona. So it's one of my favorite places on the planet. Another influence for me was Gauguin. And Gauguin, I found this, so I put it up. But literally, I have many pieces that you'll see that have Gauguin influence. This is watercolor, and that's in oil. But I did all these masks in sculpture. And so some of these are my masks, and the 3 back pieces are wood. I like people in landscape. I like portraits, I like doing animals, I like doing juxtaposed animals and people. I like doing everything in lots of color. There's no boredom in my color choice. Pretty wild, eh? And I make you think, because why would I paint this? I'm putting things together because I find them interesting. The other thing I've been painting is animals, and some of them have birds on them. These are 3 new works, and they're mostly done watercolor, acrylic, and pastels, chalk pastels. And it started out, I wanted to do these animals. So then I decided I was going to show an evolutionary change. So I really don't have a name for them, but I think they're neat, and I had the desire to paint them. So that's how it turned out. And that's the last one. But you can see that this is just, they have to be under glass because they're done in pastels, mostly. This paint is a print, and I won an award for this print, and it's basically like the hands of God in trying to control the underworld. Art comes from everywhere. This is because I did a whole series of landscapes in the Impressionistic style, and that's probably one I really liked. This painting is because I was still doing sculpture in landscape. And this is a sculpture of a man carving himself. No, he's carving the stone as he goes, you see? I don't paint the same subject matter because I don't need to. I'm willing to challenge myself. I don't care if it works out perfectly. It's the attempt to get a story told. I had painted this, and you can see it's sort of the same lady with the arm, but it's even more imaginative. And these were 2 sort of Macedonian gold pieces that I found in Paris in a French magazine. It's an abstraction, and I think it works really well. I like the heat. That's all it is. It's really hot. And this one was a challenge, obviously, to get those mountains to recede in the background. It's 2 eagles with what looks like should be their baby, but probably isn't. I think it's meant to provoke a humor. It's all it is. I'm having fun with art. This particular year I'm painting a few landscapes, but mostly water and skies. My mother and an old lady who were sitting side by side in some living room we were at, somebody's house. And the reason I painted it with the baby on top is that I wanted to show that the generation went on. They're both long dead, but I liked them. And I liked this lady. It was Ika. This is my mother. I painted her a few times. This thing, there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's just color, images. You know, the typical eagle is always present to give men power, right? This is sort of, I call this doodle art, but it's really wild. And not many people comprehend this, but it's sort of like, you know, it's like the stuff they do on graffiti. I love this. Just love the feel of it. This is just the color. To me, this is an example of great color. I'm a creative artist. I spray paint stencils. I also print with woodcuts. I have my own woodcuts, but these are repetitive ones that you can utilize. And quilts, like I make really unusual quilts. Like this is one of them, but I make duvets. I've done silk screening on fabric and made many, many quilts. And there's one of my feathered humans with an eagle checking it out. So I paint because I can. I paint whatever I want, and I paint in color. I paint styles that excite me. And I paint from history, and I paint from modern pieces, and I paint basically happy things, hopefully, and things that maybe make you laugh, things that are exciting to me.